Okay, right, we are live to another week of these questions with a special guest this time, with a bald um, guest, Mr. Steve Hall. Welcome to my
Believe,
channel. You happy to be
Evening.
here? Have you
I've never, ever,
the
I've never been happier.
Steve?
Do you want me to go on?
Have you managed to escape from the kid and the wife?
No. So
No.
let's not get me in trouble.
Well, she's definitely not watching this. Come on, let's be honest.
She's there. Welcome to my kitchen, by the way. Lovely vegetables on the wall.
Hey, you've got lovely decorations. I'm really impressed.
Uh,
Did you do
yeah,
that?
I put that. Yeah.
That's incredible.
Chili.
I've got less. I'm back in Bournemouth, so I've got less interesting stuff. It's my mum's house. I'm looking after it for the week, so it's not as
I-
it's not as
I've got
interesting. Yeah.
chilies and cherries. What
Okay.
more do you need?
Sweet and hot. I like it. Like you.
Exactly. Like us.
Absolutely perfect. Okay. Well, let's run through. I mean, you're going to ask the questions. I mean, there will be stuff that you'll have input on as well. I mean, I'm sure. But let's run
Yeah.
through a few different things from the top. Go for it. All over to you, boy.
Yeah, of course. I'll go first. Question one. I feel like Jeremy Paxton here. Jeremy
It's a bit like Parkinson.
Parkinson's, more like playing with the camera shaking. No, I shouldn't say that. I'm the head of HR, for God's sake.
Which is worrying in itself, many ways. I've got a lovely sort of tonal sort of effect going on my webcam. It's fantastic. Yours looks like it's filmed on some sort of potato.
That's my phone. It's via my phone. Yeah, I apologise on that. We had a bit of technical issues, didn't we?
Yeah, no, there were some dodgy connections. Anyway, question one, go for it. Who's it from?
Ryan Darby and +4.
Oof, 4 people loving
it. I'm in the process of updating my CV. How would you advise incorporating fresh press stuff onto it?
Okay, it's interesting. It's something that I've wanted to, as a goal for the business. Definitely something that I've always wanted to happen. Was people starting to use fresh press for TV, especially young writers. That was obviously what I wanted to happen. I also said to Dan that that I've judged the success on the business by the amount of people that have to send me references to sign or write, because I want to be writing hundreds of references a day, a week. That means I've got a business that's creating young journalists going forward and people that want to continue into the industry. How would I advise incorporating fresh press stuff? Say you write for a specific website that turns over tens of thousands of page views a month, because you'll write for specific, or you might write for a multitude of different things. You write to an editorial deadline. You work alongside editors and content writers. You look at data analytics to see what works and what doesn't, in order to make sure the audience is getting exactly what they want, and you're learning from that.
I'm going to get a beer. Carry on.
Oh, right, okay, no problem. And from that, you're actually God, he's loud. And then probably reference your view count as well, monthly, all time. People want to see your. Damien,
Have a beer.
what beer? What's in the fridge? What's in the fridge? That's a question that should have been asked.
Stella.
Okay. I kind of answered that question, I think.
Yeah, I was kind of listening. All I'd say on the back of that, I put fresh press on my CV from when I got my new job. Now, although it wasn't, obviously it wasn't a journalism job, and obviously people watching this will go for journalism jobs, I still used it. I just put it in the hobbies section.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say, I write for this website, I do this podcast, blah 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 blah. And it was one of the things that it come up a lot in the interview, that they wanted to know more about this, which was nice. So
yeah, it's good talking.
and even if your job isn't to do with journalism, if the guys might be going for any number of jobs. I don't know if every single one of them will go on to be a journalist, but it's definitely something that it was a conversation starter, if nothing else, when I had my interview, and I got a job out of it and it worked. So I suppose if your boss or whoever you're going to work for supports the team. Say that again, H.
The NHS absolutely love Liverpool podcasts.
Yeah, well, apparently they didn't, but my new job, my new boss is a tit, I'll be honest. I started with him in 3 weeks.
Oh dear. Okay, good.
Dan isn't much better. I know, we're joking.
How to get through that?
Yeah, so let's go. Next one was from Alex Robert Newton, full title there. He's got the middle name on the go. +4 again. So 4 people wanted to get involved in Mitch. What would be the best content for match days, tweets / articles? Would you suggest live tweeting the matches, and are match preview and reports worth it?
I'll do the last bit. You can kind of, we'll kind of riff on the first bit. I think match previews and reports very much comes down to the audience. I think I talked about it last week.
Yeah.
If they're working, they are putting views, then yeah, they are worth it. If they're not, then they're not. So it comes down to a website by website basis.
Sorry, I'm laughing. I can see myself and this light shining right off my head. It's doing me no favours.
Oh dear, it looks like there's an egg in between the salad and the peppers.
Oh, am I just like this?
Go and put a hands on. Okay, so I'd say it goes by a website basis, making sure that people are engaging in the content you're producing. Some websites will see that previews are really popular, but no one's reading reports. Reports are a dying piece of content anyway. Yeah, I mean, it all comes down to actually what your audience wants, and if it's responding well now in the early stages, and that's pretty representative of actually what's going to make. He's actually wearing a hat. It's one of the worst things I've ever done. And therefore it goes forward as the scale as well. The content that we should be doing for match days or during the match.
Yeah, so hat, Kangol style maybe.
Yeah, I mean, that's great.
No.
Can I answer the question?
Yeah, let's not do that. Sorry. I'm not a huge fan of match reports. I'll be honest. I think that 99% of people who are on the site will have watched the match anyway. They will know what happened. I would rather people give their interpretations on what happened rather than saying, Suarez scored in the 80th minute, Neymar scored in the 90th minute. Well, we all know that there's nothing new on that. It's very rare that people haven't watched the game, and if they haven't, I think they'll follow it on Twitter or do the follow around and know what's going on. Bit of feedback here.
I'll plug these in. Hold on. But yeah, other stuff that we could be looking at.
I think live tweeting matches. It's not a bad idea. It's up to you guys. There will be people about who aren't watching the game and will use Twitter to catch up on it. Whether we're the people that they go to. I'll be honest, I missed the first half of the Champions League last night though, and the La Liga few guys were live tweeting, and I did follow it on that. So there's definitely a use in that.
I tried last year to do I'm starting to get feedback from your end, by the way. I tried like an alternate version of match reporting on Twitter, which obviously gets a lot more traction. It's a different sort of brand. But kind of using the voice of the fan rather than necessarily the voice of the report on a match minute by minute scale, which seems to go down pretty well and obviously brings in retweets and therefore brand awareness. But it's all about keeping up and being consistent with that, because if you do it one week and then you do something else another week, you've got to make sure that everything's staying the same. Is what I'd say.
Yeah.
Next one, mate.
Oh, yeah, fine.
So I'm just worried. I'm worried about we're taking a long time.
Yeah, fine. This is from Mushy, Mr. Mushy, my father, Mr. Mushy.
Boy.
what's happening with the direct access to the Twitter account? It's much more easier, and maybe two or three trusted admins of the site can get access. Only it's just that many times we can't tweet as we have no access to TweetDeck on the move. Can I jump in on this?
Yeah, you're sort of sorting this out.
It's coming, guys. I promise you. We are looking into it. We can't just give passwords out. It's just something that, for a number of different reasons, we don't think it's going to happen. I'll be honest. I mean, H, you might want to elaborate on the reasons why. Do you want to?
Yeah, I mean, going forward as we scale, I mean, what I'm drumming into the boys at the moment is, we've got 26 websites, which is great, and we've got to moderate as a small business, but we've also got to think with everything we do, we have to think of if we had 1,000 websites, and as soon as you have 1,000 websites and you've got 1,000 different web passwords, and therefore you've got loads of people having access to loads of different accounts, then you've got a real security risk, and therefore pretty tough to moderate. So we need to find a way to do it. We will find a reason and we will find a way to do it, but it's not as easy. It's not as easy as it seems.
Me and Dan had one way, H, and I don't know. Am I okay to tell the guys? I can give you a bit of heads up. There's an app called Puffin, and you can get it on most iOS. I'm not sure what the Android functionality is at the moment, but you can definitely get it on iOS. And it allows you to use Flash and such on webs. Obviously, iPhone, your Safari doesn't let you do it, but this Puffin does, and we think you can get TweetDeck via that. So anyone with that's one avenue that Dan was exploring before he frigged off to a festival. That is something that we're looking into. That's one way we're looking around it. But like you say, there's no way that we just can't manage to give every single person a password. 2 or 3 people, much easier to ask for 2 or 3 people. Already that would be 46 people with passwords. It takes one of them to lose their phone, or to and then next minute all their friends just change the password on their phone, and then we've lost our Twitter accounts for say for example TBT. We could lose 20,000 follower account just in one thing, where if it's managed by TweetDeck we can revoke the access and stuff. So yeah, I mean, I presume that guys can understand what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, I just seen James on Slack saying that Buffer's great if you're looking at sort of 5-10 users, but again, we would have to pay per user or something like that. We're looking at sort of £3 a month per user on Buffer, which means that we're going to be outlaying about $2-3 grand a month for that. I mean, it's scalable, it works, and it's a good tool for us to use and look into. But at this stage in the business, with the budget we have, it's not something that's going to be put into place. But we are looking for.
Yeah, it's not going to. I'll be honest now, guys. I'll be honest with you, as we always are. We're not going to be giving passwords out. It's not going to happen. So, but we are looking into different ways of doing it.
Next question, boy.
This was an odd question. I think this is more for you.
Is it? It's for you. I've just seen the question.
I've got a bit of stubble going on, but I've got no beard. What would you rather do? Shave your beard or sell fresh press? And that's from. Sorry, my pronouncing. How do you pronounce that? Is it Joia? I apologise if I got your name wrong. Jelani, I presume it is.
Yeah, I definitely shave my beard. I mean, honestly, it's not as good. I was talking to Frankie after this last week's weekly question hour, and he said your beard looked great in the video, and it looked great on photos, but actually when you get close to it, it's not very nice.
I get the same about my face in general.
I can stick it out, and it looks mental.
Oh yeah, you look like an Amish person.
Or Wolverine. I can do all sorts of crazy stuff with it. But it has to be held together with wax. It's pretty high maintenance, if I'm honest with you. But it ages me, and it's quite important for my job.
Yeah, I'm the same. But that's why I've got a bald head. It ages me.
Yeah.
I've actually got a hair like you if I let it grow for a couple of weeks.
It's all on the back of your head.
It's round.
Oh, God.
Let's move on from that one quickly. From J. James Waller, or Waller maybe. When can we I expect Fresh Press Colombian edition? That's a very niche market.
It's a very niche market, and it won't be happening ever. Doesn't mean we won't have. I don't know what they speak in Colombia, but I imagine it's Spanish. We're looking into multi-language editions.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if we got a South American version in the future where we're covered a lot of things. But I don't think we're going to go. There's a lot of countries in the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but we'll look at multi-language. So we're building.
Yeah.
Will's looking at that with everything in mind. So looking at that. Go on, Keegan. Let's wrap for a few.
Dylan, this one, Dylan. What would you be doing now if you weren't a part of Fresh Press?
Still in my.
Probably relates more to.
Well, yeah, more relates to you. I mean, I'd still be in my job, really. I'd be doing social. But to be honest, if I wasn't part of Fresh Press, then I wouldn't have had the job that I got. I got it through, what I was doing, and that's where the interest came from the employer. So, what would I be doing? I'd be working my ass off in probably university and trying to come up with the next best thing, and working my way. But yeah, I suppose that question more comes towards you, Steve.
We'll probably work in the NHS still. I still am. Yeah, who knows? It was weird how I got into. I basically got into this. Followed the guys on the site, and then one day they asked me if I wanted to come on the podcast, and then it kind of went from there. And then they needed help with the site, and asked me if I wanted to help. So now I'm going to be employed by it, which is mental. It's weird, isn't it, man? I started just as doing a bit of blogging.
I talked to you actually.
Yeah.
I talked to you for the first time in that kitchen about two and a half years ago.
Yeah.
You were walking around the kitchen. I remember you were washing up, and it was very loud. And it was the first time I ever talked to you. It was on Skype. How about that for a fact? Continue. Next.
Years ago. So yeah, I'd probably be doing the job that I'm doing now, but I wouldn't have handed my notice in. If you could have 11 Fresh Press writers or admins in a football team, who and why?
Great question.
I think this is from James. It's come through as the Continental, so I want to presume it's James. Can I pitch one thing?
Yeah.
Dan is not in our team.
He's gonna watch
he is the worst.
He's gonna watch this back.
The worst football I've ever seen.
Oh, good. Okay.
Horrendous.
He's gonna be gutted by that. Gutted. Okay. And actually,
horrendous.
Okay, good. Okay, so let's think about this then. Who's tall? Jack Sear. We'd have Jack Sear in goal.
I'd put Frankie in goal.
No, Frankie's tidy, mate. Frankie's tidy. He's got great touch. Don't put him in anything that needs running. But he's great number 9.
In goal then? Yeah, in goal.
I'd put him up top.
As a target one.
Yeah, honestly, mate. Brilliant.
Okay, no, I agree. I'm happy with that. See, the only people I've seen play football, I'll be honest, are the TBT guys, and we lost every game.
We were the worst team in five-side history.
Yes, we were terrible. I blame Dan.
Yeah, I blame Dan. I got T-shirts made for that and all sorts. I know you got T-shirts made for that.
Yeah, I fucking pay for them. I'll be honest, I don't know the guys well enough to do this. So I'm gonna guess.
No, but we've got to go with personalities. So goalkeeper, we need someone that's tall, commanding.
I don't know people. I don't know how tall people are.
I'd have Jack Sear in goal because he's tall, really tall. He's like 6'7", fucking massive.
Yeah,
Jack Sear's in goal. A back four.
Yeah.
I'd look for a group of 4 who knit together well. So I'd have the Carrow Crowd 4 at the back. Great communication. Work together well, know each other well. So that's my 4 at the back. Jack Reeve, probably my captain. Good talk.
I'm slightly offended. We'll carry on.
I'm mate, general. You're the midfield general in the sense.
Oh yeah, that's great. Thanks. I'm happy with that.
Hold on.
Like Jan Mulvey spreading passes around.
Yeah, very similar. More Gary McAllister with a haircut. And who else? I need some sort of flair on the. I mean, if I'm going to go for flair, I'd have the guys from Flares and Foosball on the wings.
I was going to say Dino's got a cool sounding name, so maybe his name's quite cool.
Yeah, I like that. So Dino's on the wing, and he also does stuff with Flares and Foosball.
Well, you're going to put yourself up front, aren't you? Because you don't
Correct.
want to steal all the glory.
No, I'm not actually. I'm going to go manager. So I'm going to give someone else up front with Frankie. It's an honour to play up front with Frankie, honestly.
Molliver.
Oh, no, Molliver's in centre midfield. Molliver, centre midfield.
With me?
Yeah, you and Molliver. Honestly, mate, the guy's a tank. I've never seen him play football. I've kicked the ball around with him in the office, and he's not great. But I think he'll do it.
That's an intimidating midfield.
That is intimidating. And then you've got Hobbs up top, and we need someone quick alongside Hobbs.
I'm going to pick Kane. Just
Kane, yeah, he's got.
Harry Kane's good. Harry Kane can play up front, so I'm going to presume Kane can play up front too.
Kane and Hobbs up top. I mean, it's thing of dreams. It's thing of dreams. Okay, cool. Next question. Good question, by the way. I like that one.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing to do with the business.
Fuck it, who cares? Do you advise target setting as a website? Targeting views and stuff like that. That's from Ash.
Yeah, good question. We do it as a network, so internally, myself, Steve, and Dan. I kind of set targets.
Harry badgers me saying, we're low today. What are you going to do?
I've set a target that I want to hit every day in terms of where we need to be at the moment, and where we need to be able to grow at the rate I want it to grow. The guys then facilitate that, and we appreciate that Norwich site might have a great day one day, and the Man City side might have a better day the next day, and it goes up and down depending on what the relevancy of the club is. So we look at it as a network. However, I do think setting yourself a small target on a daily basis is a nice way to do it, because then you're thinking about how many times you're plugging articles, you're thinking about how you're doing it, you're looking at the analytics. I mean, I'm massively into data, and I'm working out what's working, what's not, and doing more of the stuff that is working than the stuff that's not. So for me, it's working to a goal, and then understanding how you got that goal and replicating it, finding out the shortfalls, finding out stuff that actually didn't contribute at all to the goal, and kicking that out and finding something else that can do more. Anything else on that, Steve?
I would say rather than view counts, because view counts can be hit and miss. I mean, you can write the best article ever and no one sees it, and you can write some piece of shite and 500 people click on it. That can happen. I would say as an admin or whatever, you might want to look at your writing stuff and get a certain amount of articles off them people per week or per day or whatever. I think that makes more sense. I think if you at least ask them, can you, this is what we expect from you. Obviously, people have exams and people go on holiday and stuff. That's fine, but the general run-of-the-mill stuff, I think that's something that you probably could. That bottle looks huge, doesn't it? That's something that you could look at doing. I think definitely. Twitter followers as well. Maybe set yourself a goal of, we'll do a bit more interacting on Twitter. So in 2 weeks' time, I want to gain 30, 50 followers or whatever.
Yeah, maybe you do it that way in terms of we're going to plug 4 articles a day, and we're going to plug them twice each. But we're not just going to do those tweets. We're also going to do 5 tweets that intersperse them. So 1 tweet in between each article plug. But views is obviously a slightly harder one for you guys, because you haven't got the tangible metrics to be able to see it during the day. So what I'd go for is articles produced on a weekly basis, or Twitter, something that you can see and that's tangible, and engagement. Maybe does anybody use analytics.twitter.com, and you can see all the analytics for your Twitter account, be it retweets, engagement rates, and you can see exactly what tweets are working, what's drawing in engagement. So I'd push all the admins and the editors to look at analytics.twitter.com and log in with your Twitter. I'm now thinking it through, and no one's got a password, so it's completely irrelevant. I apologise.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Let's ignore that. I
would say cut that, but you can't. It's live. We're fucked.
We all make mistakes, Harry. We're not all perfect. I'll say that quick is, actually, when I'm full time, I'll be able to give you as much data as you want.
Yeah.
So what stuff, so that we'll get all that. Okay, this from Isaac. I'll answer this one very quickly here, just to speed up. Are there any plans of making non-UK club sites? Yes.
Yes.
There are.
Yeah, very quickly.
They will come in the future. We'll start on the Real Madrid and the Barcelonas of the world, and then we'll see how we go. Jay, again, quite a personal question, but as a university student who will finish education next summer, what would you advise me to go on to do, or perhaps what would you do if you were in my position?
Okay. I know Jay pretty well from other things. So, I think he studies journalism and culture and media. So, in a good position to evaluate what's going on out there. I think there's so many opportunities out there. Sadly, lots of them aren't brilliantly paid, especially in the media world. What I would do in your position, I think I said it last week, is go and meet people, go and talk to people, go and create relationships and hone those relationships over the next year whilst you're at university. Make effort, but don't be pushy, and make your presence known in the space that you want to go on and do. Journalism is a really, really tough industry to break into. I think I've said it before, but only the top 10 writers in the country are getting paid more than £75,000-80,000, and there's a lot of writers out there. Lots will be on a very, very bog standard wage. So actually making it really big into this industry is really tough. It's probably more competitive than being a footballer itself. So, if you want to go into football journalism in the UK, that is really hard. And you don't actually have to be a good writer, you just have to know people. So what I would suggest is you start talking to people and then networking from there and working out what they can do for you, coming up with ideas that you can chase with, and from there you'll you'll understand more about what you actually want to do. Otherwise, you're just sort of meandering along.
Yeah. And I'll just say, Jay, do whatever makes you happy. Whatever you think will make you happy. That's very underrated.
Turning into Trisha.
That is very underrated. Whatever will make you happy, son. If you want to go and sweep the streets. Kane had asked.
Well, that is motivation for everyone.
Well, to be fair, what you just done, you just told every one of our writers who are building a journalism career that they've got no chance. So
no,
probably all
no deactivated. I said we've got the next top 10 writers in the country in our ranks now. But it is tough.
We'll do everything we can to help people, won't we? That's the one thing that we'll do.
Yeah.
What are you sipping tonight from Kane? Well, I've got Stella.
I haven't got anything actually because I've only just got in. So I've just been went to the pub with someone. But I've got a Foster's in front of me last night. I've actually got apple juice and like Fanta and stuff. So nothing interesting. Been eating a lot of pate today. Go on, continue. Next question.
This is from James. I think this was it's Continental Zone, so I presume it was James. Would you advise focusing on a small amount of writers who are always helping out, or try and get as many into Slack with the possibility of not all helping out? Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think what's important and what we've learned quickly, you've just turned your video off, mate.
Sorry.
What we've learned quickly is that we would like to focus on a really small group that performs the daily tasks, so be it the news and all that. You probably need a group of 5 or 6 for that. Keep turning off, mate. And then
I'm back on. I'm back.
Yeah. And from there, you can build your group out from there and have feature writers and people that sporadically add to the website. But you need the core group. I think that's vital, and I think lots of you guys have got that, which is really promising.
Sorry, the camera have a little bit of a tech issue, but I'm thinking okay now. On the author page of the new site, this is from Kane. Is there a possibility of seeing all pieces across the network rather than just the 3 that are on the current site?
Okay, this is interesting. I want to see if I can share my screen. I'm going to get up the author page design that I put together. Can you tell that person that's texting you to frig off?
Can I just say that it's something that we're looking into? Is that fair enough to say?
Yeah, I mean all of that. Let's see if I can screen share.
I'll turn this off again just so it doesn't keep cutting to me.
Here we go. So can you see the screen? You can see my screen.
Yes.
Then you'll see that. Hold on. So this is going to be the wireframe that I put together for the new author page. Can you see my cursor?
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay, cool. So
I'm going to shut up. Harry, I'm going to shut up because it keeps cutting back to me. So I'll just I'll mute my mic for a sec.
So here's the profile photo up here. The username. The username at the top, then the user biography. You guys all right? User biography will be in here, and then you have the total number of reads you've had, total number of articles you produced, average number of article reads, which will be the division of this by this, and you'll also have your monthly reads in there. This will be all your social accounts that you connect. Here will be the gamification side, so it will have little trophies as to when you hit 10,000 reads, etc. Here will be a button where you can get emailed, so someone can click it and quickly email you directly. Here will be the logos of the Fresh Press websites that you've written for as an author, so it could be Carrow Crowd, Flares and Foosball, and the Bib Theorist. Will be all three logos there, and it will only show how many people, how many websites you've actually written for. And then here will be all the articles you've ever written. So it'll be the top 4. In the most recent 4 and the most popular 4 done by reads, but then you can always load more. So you'll be able to see every single article you've ever done. So here's kind of what we're aiming for in terms of the author page, which I hope helps. See if I can come back. Is that helpful? Am I still screen sharing? I don't think I am. You there?
Yeah, I am. Your camera's popped up, but I'll fix it in 1 second. It crashed, apparently. I've had a crash recovery.
No problem. I'll continue on the next question. What came first, a chicken or the Tyrannosaurus Rex? Not a clue, not a scientist. For the guys not on Google News Now, is there anything we should be aware of that we post to help us get onto those sites? No, they don't have any preferences, but they you need some market on your laptop.
Yeah. 1 second.
Thank you.
Well.
So yeah, they don't have any preferences in terms of getting onto the websites. But once you're on them, you know the best person to talk to is probably Alex from the West Brom site, because he is performing incredibly well in the News Now ranks for West Brom. He's getting top articles on there and trending articles, but also he's picking up loads and loads of views. And he's actually, West Brom is the 3rd highest viewed website in the network. And if you told me that, the West Brom would be rivaling both Arsenal and Liverpool for the top websites, and I'd be incredibly surprised. So, you know, that goes to show how much effect the News Now traffic can have. And he's also doing it very well with great titling, which makes people want to click on it from News Now. So that's very important too.
I think News Now, that's for regular content. It's rather than specific types of news. It's just you need to be regular with your content. So you sometimes Dan, I see Dan sometimes getting on people's cases a little bit, but he does it in a nice way. He just says, it's been 3 days where you need to put something on, or we're going to lose News Now. And if you lost News Now, it would massively affect your views. So I think just regular content. That's pretty much it. As for Google, I applied for all sites last week. The only ones I can't apply for yet is the new TNC site, obviously because it's new. For a couple of weeks. I think it's only 3 months with Google.
Yeah.
Rather than 6 with News Now.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll move on. Would we ever see Fresh Press dabble in motorsports? That's from Alex.
Yeah. We'll see Fresh Press dabble in everything, hopefully. But we've got to build out from what we know, and what we know how to scale it through to everything else. So it'll move from football to sport in general, to then multiple verticals such as music, fashion, entertainment, film, and then it'll keep on growing from there.
What's the next one? Is there an area of football you would like to see covered that hasn't been yet? I'm sure you mentioned Asia before due to its lack of coverage. That's Alex.
Yeah, I like Asia. in terms of a niche for coverage. I think it's cool. I don't think the MLS is covered very well. Obviously, in a massive emerging market for football or soccer. I'll never do that again. I think the A-League as well in Australia is undercovered, well covered in Australia, but outside of it is fairly undercovered. And the Russian League and the Ukrainian League, which are producing some really, really incredible talents, don't have enough knowledge bases out there. And if someone or a few people start to build their knowledge base in those areas, then they'll really start to reap the rewards in a year or so, because I think some real big talents will come out of Russia and Ukraine, as with the big clubs being Shakhtar, Dynamo, and Angie, and Spartak. There's so many clubs out there that are producing and have a history of producing good talent that some people need to latch onto it.
Definitely, I agree. Seb's asked to be watching the Ivory Coast. I presume he's the women's football. I'm not sure.
Definitely not.
I'm doing this, so no. Sorry. Seb again, in what ways will the new site stand out from the current ones? I'll briefly warn that they will be way better. They'll look amazing. It'll be easier for people to submit stuff. You'll be able to tell as soon as you click onto one of our sites, it's one of our sites. At the moment, they're all different named. It'll all be one name. It'll just look much, much, much better. And I know the guys are meeting designers soon. That's it. So yeah, they're going to be brilliant, Seb, honestly, trust me. I've seen the basic brief of it, and it'll be great. Hello, Mike. This one's from Mike. Steve, I want to know how you told your wife about leaving your day-to-day job to be full-time employed at Fresh Press. First of all, I'm not married.
Bring her on, mate. Is she here?
No, I don't think she's speaking to me, to be honest with
No.
Yeah, I'm not married is the first question. I'm engaged, but yeah, how did I tell her? I basically said, I told her that what money I'll be on was the first thing, and that I'm actually getting paid. I told her that I wasn't going to be a full-time blogger, which would have been horrendous because we'd have been homeless. Just sold her the pitch that Harry sold me. I mean, it seemed to work. It's probably the best thing I can say. I know, and she understood. She said, at my age, I'm 27 now. I thought, if it absolutely did, I don't think it will. I'm not saying it will, but if it did absolutely go balls up, I'd trust that I'd be able to find myself another job somewhere along the line. And I think it was just a risk that was. I say risk in the slightest sense of the word, because it's not a risk because I've seen the plans, but it was a no-brainer. It was something I loved. It was a chance to earn more money. It was a chance to spend more time with my son at home because I'll be working from here more. So it was just win-win-win. Yeah, that was it. A quick one from Steve Killen. Any tips for young writers? That is very broad. All I'll say is know what you're talking about. Don't try and I'd say don't try and be too clever or too. Using big words just for the sake of using big words doesn't make you fancy. It just makes you look pretentious.
Or crazy European football language. If I ever see the word registrar or trequartista, I'd just delete you as a user. Honestly, I'm not interested. Yeah. But there's another question from Steve Killen as well, which has just been added. Is there ever a possibility of Fresh Press allowing jobs not just for writing? Definitely. As we scale, we'll have a lot of different offerings. Steve's not been employed to write. Steve's going to be doing the data analytics and kind of content strategy. So, it's not going to be, in fact, that employees are very rarely going to be writing. That's kind of the idea. It's going to be a user-generated basis. Keep going through, mate.
I'm in charge of HR at the moment. We could do with someone else because I'm not sure that's my forte. This is from Dean. Dean Amy. Hello, Dean. What has been your proudest achievement so far?
I don't really know. I mean, taking investment for this company is probably the biggest one. And being able to employ mates, I think that's probably my proudest achievement is being able to tell my friends that I can have a company that can pay them, and we're stable, and we've got enough money, and we're going to be doing what we love together. I think that was my proudest moment, having a phone call with Steve and Will, and having the call with Dan after the investment was confirmed to say we've done it. This is my dream since I was 16 to go and do this sort of thing. So it's quite incredible that now it's a full-time job, and and we're employing friends to be able to do it. So, giving back people what they put in for the last 2 years is the biggest thing for me, probably.
Yeah, if it was me, if you're talking out of this thing, it's obviously my son, but if you're talking this whole stuff, it was that phone call of Harry where it was literally a 30-second phone call. It was, we've got money, do you want to go and work for us? Here's what you're going to be doing. Yes, done. It was
I'll tell you what else is
literally
on there. The podcast getting to number 3 in the world chart.
Yeah, I was very proud of walking through Croxteth Park, seeing Brendan Rodgers, and he recognised me and said hello. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, those sort of things. And when you got recognised in Asda, that must have been pretty fun for you.
Yeah, I did actually. Yes. He said I'm not as old as they say I am, but it was nice.
He was a bit of a minor celebrity for about a year to 18 months whilst the podcast was booming up in Liverpool. Lots of people started to recognise you. You worked with someone that recognised you as well.
Yeah, I did. It was mad, a bit mad. That was more awkward than proud. Move on. Alex, will the hashtag merch be available after the rebrand? I'll look into it. It's something I'm going to look into. It's not priority because there's 100 things to sort.
Imagine that being a priority. Imagine me going back to investors and saying, sorry guys, we're going to be a bit behind schedule because we really, really, really need some hoodies. You know that money you gave us and I promised I'd build a website and get it to millions of people? Don't worry, we're not going to do that just yet because I've got some awesome t-shirts. Look at them. No, not going to happen.
Yeah, it will happen, but it'll be a long way away. Alex, again, can you tell us any specific details about how the new sites will look, or if any of the tabs will be changing? All we've been given so far is that they've been built to make writing and publishing as easy as possible. This is from Adam that Alex has submitted on his behalf. I'll go first. The site, we don't know 100% how they'll look because we're going to meet a design company who are going to guide us through stuff with it. What we want it to be easier for click through, so we want people to be able to navigate around the site easier, better than they are now. I don't think they're built to do that at the moment, so that's definitely one thing. I think, other than that, Adam, sorry, we don't exactly have a great answer because we haven't met the designers yet. There's certain things we want. Our focus at the moment has been on the writing stuff. It's been, instructing Will to make things, I say we, Harry and Dan, to make things easier for the editors and the admin. So it's all back end based at the moment, but the front end stuff will come. All we'll know is that they'll all be branded, so they'll all look the same again, but with the Reed logo on there somewhere, which we don't even know what that looks like yet. But it'll be Reed Norwich, Reed Liverpool, Reed West Brom, whatever. And my job is to make sure the content and the clicks are getting done. I'll make sure that it's the ability to get clicked through so people can navigate around the site easier, because I don't think the current sites are good enough for that at the moment. Do you want to throw something in, H?
Yeah, no, the data proves that. I mean, the biggest thing was at the moment, what Will's building at the moment is taking all the feedback that you've given us over the last year, all the things that Dan has massive issues with on a day-to-day basis, and build a system that has none of those issues at all. So that everything's much easier, it's much quicker, and that's the basis for everything as it's successful for this business. It's, number one is getting people through the door and looking at the content, but number two is making it easy for the people that are creating that content. Cool. Next one, mate.
Ryan Darby, he's submitted this on behalf of Josh Lawless. Has the whole project gone quicker than you thought? Also, would you recommend emailing the press officers at clubs to see if it's possible to get interviews, even if it's youth players, etc.?
The first point, has it gone quicker than I thought? I've been doing this for a long time. We started off really small, and it did grow very slowly for about a year. We only had 2 websites for about 18 months. And then Dan left university and decided that he was willing to take the risk on not doing going to full-time work and taking a risk on a year working on Fresh Press and see how it could go, and trusting in me to be able to raise some capital for it, and managed to do it obviously a few months ago, and now he's full-time, and it did grow massively in the year that he took charge, and I wasn't able to. But he did a great job in scaling it to 26 websites as we are now. So yeah, in the last year, I am very impressed in the scale that we've achieved. The numbers are growing day by day, which is incredible. Actually, in the last sort of 20 days, we've seen an incredible uplift in viewership, which really speaks volumes as to what you guys on the ground are doing, and how it's how well it's working. And that as a scale thing, it is exciting because in the last 20 days we've seen like something like 550% growth. So we're looking at that and I'm thinking, yeah, Jesus, we've got something here that people love, and that has grown quickly. And I thought, is it worth recommending? Is it worth emailing press officers at clubs? Yeah, I mean, why not? Introduce yourself. It goes back to what I was saying to people earlier about creating contacts, making sure they do things. I started emailing the press officer at Liverpool 18 months ago on the off chance of things. Now we get invited to things, and I actually, one of my friends wanted a signed Liverpool shirt for his brother or something, his brother's birthday, and I was able to email Steve up in Liverpool, the press officer, and he got me a signed Coutinho shirt for free because we'd helped him out and he helped me out in return. So it's about forging those relationships, and therefore you can see where it goes from there.
Yeah, don't email your local press officer asking for free stuff yet.
No.
just wait. Fucking hell, wait for that. Alex, I'll answer this one. It's about Google News. Will it have the same impact as News Now? No. News Now is the one that's going to get the most views. Google News is decent. It's really good, but
if it picks up, it flies. Google News. If it picks up,
it doesn't say. Yeah,
but it'll be on individual articles. Where News Now is far more consistent.
And the thing with Google News is that much news is happening all over the world. To get to the top, be the top number one, you might be on it for a second, and next minute you're on page 6. It can be literally that. It can fly that mad. It's weird. I was looking into it, but it'll help. It will help at times.
Yeah,
I think
everything helps in that way.
But News Now is. Yeah, it's worth us doing, but News Now is the one that is the more consistent one. What do you think makes Fresh Press unique, and have you got any plans to become even more unique in the future? That's from Ash Davis.
Yeah, I saw this question come in. It was really interesting. It made me think. What our offering is to the consumer isn't unique at all in any way as written word about football. I mean, it couldn't be any less. Really. I mean, thousands of websites are doing what we're doing. We do it very well. We have a respect and a reputation in the industry, which makes it very makes it more unique than most. But then I thought, actually, what makes this a unique environment to work in, and an offering for you guys more than an offering for the viewership, which is just a natural progression. And what made me think was actually the fact I'm doing this, and the fact that you talk to each other all day, every day, and we've got a community within our own writers on a day-to-day basis, as if we're all friends on WhatsApp, but none of us have met each other. That's what I think really sets us apart. It's not a family, because it sounds really cringy, but it's a community that's been forged under this Fresh Press umbrella. I think friends have been made. Relationships have been, not in that way, relationships have been made and created and going forward have been useful, and now we're starting to see people interact from other websites and start to realize these content links, that if a Newcastle player is linked to Liverpool, then there's people to talk to and we can quickly get to those people, and that access and that communication and the ability to do so, I think is a massive unique feature between writers. And the ease of use for that, but mainly because of the community aspect we've got between editors, writers, and admins, and us. I mean, we're just you see us. I think that's another thing. There's plenty of companies that the guys at the top will never be seen by people. So I think without blowing our own trumpets, I think that's kind of unique as well.
Yeah, I think we're very people-based, aren't we? I think we're not. I think from what I've heard with other similar organisations, it's more robotic, it's more numbers-based. We are actually quite people. We want views, and we want hits, and we want the website to do well. But I think, like I say, Dan will, for example, will be in the hashtag betting chat all day as well. You know what I mean? He's not nameless. Dan's there. You'll see me in the bits and bobs. Harry's never there, but we'll ignore that.
I'm busy sorting this bloody money.
Kane's asked last question, I think, unless anyone wants to throw some quickly onto Slack before we finish. How do you make your beard game strong, H? That's from Kane.
Well, I think I did touch on it earlier, actually, which is mad. Wax.
I love your beard.
Waxes away, honestly. Keeps it in nice shape, because as I said, this is what it could look like, this sort of hairiness. Because it's actually really, really long, but it just gets put down and shaped. But it's okay, I mean, it's getting there. It's quite thick.
Thank you. Alex asked in Slack, Harry versus Steve versus Will versus Dan, who wins in a fight to the death? I can guarantee you for a fact that I will win.
I lose. I mean, that's in terms of a knockout. Okay, so 4 of us enter the ring. Who's first out? Yeah. Me. I'm out.
Yeah.
In fact, I'd almost get in the ring and leave. I just walk out because I know that either I'm going to lose straight away, or I'm just going to get hurt and then lose instantly. And you probably
Will's
going up. Will's a nerd, but he packs a punch. The bloke, he's rowdy on a night out.
Yeah, he is. I think I'd take him and Dan. So I'm you know what? I'm backing myself. Deal with it.
Some sort of double choke slam on Will and Dan. That'd be great to watch. In fact, I'd pay to watch.
I'm just backing me.
Okay, great. Well, Dan, I don't think would stand a chance.
I don't know. Yeah, I agree. I've seen Dan's athleticism, and it's 0.
Yeah. Although he has been running a lot recently, which means he probably has a lot more stamina than he used to.
And he, you know what? He's
maybe knowing that you are the favourite. Maybe like Alex says on the Slack now that maybe me, Dan, and Will form some sort of force alliance at the start, and we all go for you. I am a useless part of that alliance. I mean, they're very stupid if they think I'm going to help them in any way.
Yeah.
I might mastermind it, saying, right, we're going to do this, and they might have to carry it out. But other than that, I'm completely useless.
Yeah, you know what? It might happen one day when we're in the offices or something, and we have a big row, and we'll figure it out once and for all.
Yeah.
and I'll win. I think that's pretty much everything, unless there's anything more in Slack. Let me just go and check very quickly. No, there's not.
It's pretty bare, mate.
Go, everyone, that's fine. I'm going to say, Harry, I'll let you finish, but I'm going to say, go and write some news. It's 10:30.
Yeah, 10:30, 5 people. But yeah, thanks again. Another great hour. I mean, we got through quite a lot of irrelevant stuff as well, which is good. I quite enjoy that. If we think we're going to be struggling for questions, maybe we'll make this bi-weekly. Did you enjoy having someone else here? I think it was a bit more fun, a bit more interactive. Hopefully try and bring Dan into this as well, because it'd be good if those boys could do it as well if I'm not available. But yeah, fun as always. Thank you very much for all your questions, and also thank you for all your increased effort over the last week. It's been another incredible record-breaking week, and it's looking very exciting for the next few weeks going forward. And Steve, you start in how many weeks now? 3 weeks?
Yeah, 3 weeks tomorrow. Not that I'm counting. 15 shifts.
So we'll have another member of the team in 15 shifts time, and from there we'll grow even more. And then we're looking forward to the start of the season. So thank you very much for watching. We're now going to be back on Slack. Ordering people around because we need news. Thank you very much. See you later.
Doodles.